My name is Law Nation. That's L-A-W Nation. You can find this on iTunes and Spotify, as well as on your Roku devices. Really appreciate it. Oh, Joseph, appreciate you, man, for the super chat, man. Really do, man. My boy clapping for us, man. Yeah, we'll be out there at Oxnard on July the 27th. We'll be trying to give you guys the end around and all of the news and the information for the nation out there. We're going to try to give you guys all the things that I know, right? So you guys can take back and remember the things that I put out there. You guys are free to reuse, free to post wherever you want to. Just got to recreate it in your own original format because you don't want the YouTube to come after you, right, for reuse content. So, but you guys know how it goes. I always like to hear this and I like to see this. Where are you guys from? Let me know, because we are the only nation, believe it or not, that can say we got people from Italy. I got people that watch this show from Canada, Backdoor, Idaho, people that's all the way down there from the dirts and the bottoms of Mississippi. That's where I'm from, right? And then also we got people from Alabama. We got West Coast Cowboys out there. That's where I'm going to be holding it down. Law, how old is Tyron Christian? I don't know, really. I think he's anywhere in between 22 to 24 years old, give or take. Shout out to you, Chris Robertson. Appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you all. Thank you all. Let's go and talk about this Ezekiel Elliott. Let's talk about Dak Prescott. You guys want to hear about that, right?
The Cowboys have a lot of mouths to feed, just sort of the way it worked out with the number of contracts coming due. Ezekiel Elliott doesn't necessarily have to have one field, but he'd certainly like a new deal. Where do we stand, and should the Cowboys pay him the big bucks?
I think the second question.
Hey, before he talk, I'm going to tell you guys, pay Ezekiel Elliott. I know we got a collective people that say to themselves, we don't need to pay Ezekiel. Nah, I don't agree with you guys. I'm just sitting here saying to myself, man, just pay the guy. Just find a way to pay the man. Reach down in your pocket and go ahead and pay the man. We'll worry about the other stuff on the back end of the puzzle, right? Let's listen to what they got to say.
Actually might lead you to where things stand here, Wendy. I think the Cowboys should not be motivated to make Ezekiel Elliott the priority amongst contract talks at this juncture. Dak Prescott is entering the final year of his contract. Amari Cooper entering the final year of his contract. Yeah. Byron Jones also entering the final year of his contract. It's not that everything in the NFL has to be sequential, but when you have a roster that already has a bunch of highly priced veterans, who are worth it, by the way, you have to make some difficult decisions. And sometimes you have to make sure that you allocate the most important position before you just pay the player that might be the best player, because you can make the case for Zeke as the best. I think Dak Prescott has to be the number one priority right now because he plays quarterback.
Let's look in the short term in terms of.
All right, so you're talking about a number one priority. Guys, you got to get your affairs and priorities in order. Quarterback always number one. No matter how you look at it, the quarterback is always going to be the number one. It always should be the number one. That's just the reality of it. Outside of the center who touches the ball 100% of the time, your quarterback is going to handle the rock most of the time, majority of the time. And I was trying to tell a lot of people is that, Joe, shout out to you, man, all the way in Italy. Let me know what time it is out there, man. Just post it down in the comment box, Joe. Shout out to you, man. It's on the Facebook panel. I call it the Elite panel. Lee Robinson, Lee Johnson, appreciate you. Rodney Ellis, man, please stand up. He says, Texas, stand up tall. Texas, yeah. You guys see it. Texas, stand up tall. Yes. All right, so my thing is with the quarterback situation, you always want to pay the quarterback. You always want to get the quarterback that can learn and develop. You always want to see some improvement with the quarterback. Because at the end of the day, the quarterback, you want to know, can he win the game in the crucial minutes? Or will he just spills it all over where? Will he spoils the game for you? You know. Let me know if I'm wrong, but Dak Prescott got a lot of comeback victories. And I know that a lot of people go and say it's because he put us in that situation. Nah, I don't feel it that way. I just don't feel it that way, Cowboy Nation. Look at it from these angles, Cowboys. You pay Dak Prescott, then everything else goes into flow. Then also, I'm already saying that Ezekiel Elliott, he will show his tail up in Oxnard. He'll be out there. He got 2 more years left on his contract. And then you start working out the deals for Ezekiel. You already tell Amari Cooper, like, hey, Amari, you know what? We saw how you was playing out there in Raiders land. don't you feel rejuvenated? You know, do you feel revived, right? That's the best word. That's a better word. Revived now that you're in Dallas. And we're working on a big deal for you. But it's not going to be $22 million. That's what Michael Thomas want to get paid. He want to get paid that $22 million. It's not going to be around there, but it's going to be a comfortable salary. It's going to be more money than you ever had before. I can guarantee you that. Yes, Derek Tips says you got to pay Dak Prescott first. But let's listen to more what they had to say. This is from ESPN NFL Live, not NFL Network, but shout out to them.
On the field, that notwithstanding, how critical is Ezekiel Elliott to what this offense can do in 2019?
He's extremely critical. I always talk.
My bad. Yeah. Correction for the nation. Really appreciate you, man. It's revitalized. Appreciate you, Crow. You know, hey, I'm not always on the up and ups, man. I really appreciate you guys. I'm always open ears, so appreciate you. Thank you.
About it, like if Dak Prescott's driving the train, Ezekiel Elliott's he's the engine that makes that train go, and Dak Prescott's the one that drives it. I feel like Ezekiel Elliott is the one that keeps them balanced, keeps them honest, keeps defenses honest, and his skill set is off the charts. What he can do with the ball in his hands, whether within the tackles, going in between the lines, or even on the perimeter catching the football, things he does in the screen game. He has a lot of different things that keep the Cowboys, ahead of the rest, and offensively in that regard, that he is extremely important to that team. It's just a timing thing. It's a timing thing, not just for Ezekiel, but for that entire Cowboys organization. How do they keep that dynamic roster together, those key parts, Amari Cooper, Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, how do they keep that core together so that they're able to play at a high level for years to come?
Yeah, so that was one of the guys on the panel. I forgot his name, actually. Hey, but he was saying that you got to figure out a way to pay Ezekiel Elliott. His argument is saying that, okay, Ezekiel Elliott is the end-all, be-all for this particular team. And I agree with certain portions of it, but I'm just looking at it. Okay, Joe, it's 2 o'clock in the morning where you at? Oh, my goodness, boy, you're a troop, man. You're a soldier, man. 2 o'clock a.m., baby. Shout out to you, man. Got the Energizer Bunny mindset and heart going on over there. All right, so what I'm saying is, Cowboy Nation, is when you look at the total picture of this, I really believe that all of this offseason talk, there's one person that you guys got to keep in mind. Just doing like this. Yes. You know how that Jack Nicholson meme like doing like this? Yes. Guess who that is? Guess who's doing that? Derek Tips, that's Victor Cruz, man. Appreciate you, man. I forgot the guy's name. You know what? Victor Cruz looked just like Byron Jones a little bit on that, with the blue suit and what have you. But that's a story of a different day. Jerry Jones is nodding his head like yes, because as much news as the Cowboys are getting generated throughout the massive media and all of the YouTube creators, it's just continued to keep Dallas Cowboys names in everybody's mouths. I've seen platforms like the Giants talk about the Ezekiel Elliott. The Eagles talk about Ezekiel Elliott. The Redskins saying, hey, Cowboys should pay Ezekiel Elliott, or Cowboys shouldn't pay Ezekiel Elliott. And what this does is that it's just more talking about the Dallas Cowboys. And it's the more you talk about a name or a product, whether it's good or bad or ugly or sad, it just goes, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to you for the donation to help grow the nation, man. Really appreciate you. Thank you, Vino. I think that's how you say your name. Adams Upshaw, DC for life. Shout out to you, man, on the Facebook panel. James Wood, man, Dak and Zeke need to talk. Who's going to get the bag first? Basically, this is what James Hood was saying. Yeah, I think that Dak Prescott's birthday is Monday, right? Shout out to Miss Scott and Pro for putting that bead of information in my mind. His birthday is Monday. So it may be a situation where we're going to look at this thing and say, you know what? we going to see the big contract come around the corner. Everybody going to be mad. So it's because this fan base is like divided, like the Great Divide. Remember that ice cream? The Great Divide. We got so many people. David J., thank you for the donation to help grow the nation.
Listen up, Law. Here's my feeling on Zeke. He's punking the media. He let some false rumor out to get his name out there.
So it's a little Ezekiel Elliott situation going on. Oh, I like that. I like that. You know, it's Ezekiel Elliott just stirring. Remember the straw that stirs the drink? It's Ezekiel Elliott that's doing the Mastery Jedi mind trick. I like that too, but I'm thinking that it's more of Jerry Jones. But I really appreciate you for the donation to Help Grow the Nation. Give Dak $32.5. This is from Lee Johnson on the Facebook panel. He says give him $32 million and Cooper $18 million a year. You know what? If the Cowboys were to pay Cooper right when the season was over with last year, it would have been right around the 16 or 17 million, right? And we know that the salary cap is increasing every year. And then also we know this right here with all of our thoughts. We know this right here is that Dak Prescott, if we were to pay him, because a lot of people, remember there was episodes out there that was saying like Jason Whitlock and those boys, speak for yourself. They were saying that Dak Prescott should get like 18 million, 19 million. I did a whole full episode about that. And I said, no way Dak Prescott get 18 to 20 million. And his market value was 25 at the time. Cowboys, the longer you wait, the more you have to pay. But I'm not saying that this is a bad thing, because the salary cap is always increasing and the market is always reshaping itself. You know what? Russell Wilson reset the market, and your boy Carson Wentz confirmed what was reset. You know what I'm saying? So now the Cowboys organization is forced to pay Dak Prescott in the range of 32 to 33, 34, 35 million, no higher than 35. So the longer we wait, and somebody said we should wait until see when Pat Mahomes reset the market. It's going to be another 2 years, I think, for Pat, or 3. So, and I think that they may pay him a little earlier too. But what we got in our bag is this right here, Cowboy Nation. I really think that the collective bargain agreement is in 2020. I really think that this salary cap situation is going to increase because we're going to get more games. I'm really thinking that if we all know that Jerry Jones make what? He made the organization $5 billion. That's with a B. That's a lot of cash. That is a lot of money. Ain't just right, Adam Upshaw. That's a lot of money. So I'm thinking that these other owners are looking at it saying, okay, how can we make our individual franchises more money? And when Jerry Jones put out there, hey, I would like for this season or this league to go to 18 weeks. Who knows? Hey, Miss Jackie, appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in to the nation. Hey, Miss Jackie, everybody in the chat box. Hey, Miss Jackie, let's go.
You could easily make the argument that Ezekiel Elliott is their best offensive player. I mean, yeah. And so, and everything that comes along with that in terms of how he affects that team and their success being tied to how many times he touches the football. With that being said, it doesn't mean that he should get a deal right now because he wants one. If you think about it, picked up the 5th-year option. Sure. You also have the ability to franchise him. And so, then at that point, he would be about 26 years old. And then you could think about if you wanted to commit to him long term. He has had some stuff off the field that has at least gotten the attention of the commissioner. And so I think when you look at Ezekiel Elliott and you think about, hey, are we going to commit to this guy long term and give him a huge contract at that position when you've seen what's happened at that position with other players like Todd Gurley, who's also a fairly young player? I don't think that the Cowboys should be in any rush whatsoever to do that. You may have an unhappy player, but I don't really know the leverage that is.
All right, so I'm going to pause him right quick. That was Hasselback. I don't know which one it is, but it's the bald-headed one on the show there. My thing is, Cowboy Nation, when you start to think about this. Just think about it. If Dak Prescott could get his money, and then Ezekiel Elliott try to get his money, and then they start trying to use the off-the-field situation. You know what? Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott, they kind of like jointed at the hip almost at this point. But Ezekiel Elliott, everybody look at the small things that Ezekiel Elliott does, right? This brother can actually eat a chip out of a bag, and a piece of a chip falls and hit the ground. If TMZ sees that, they're going to say this guy is littering. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, don't let the chip. Oh, we got another donation to help grow the nation. What we got here? Let's see what they have to say. Come on,
if we
AI.
pay Doc, Zeke, and Amari, how can we sign Jalen Smith?
Oh, good question. And I'm thinking that Jalen Smith may be one of the highest linebackers in the world or what have you by the time, especially it's all predicated upon this year. it would be wise to mid-season go ahead and pay Jalen Smith before his contract is up or what have you. I still think that Jalen Smith can find somewhere in his heart of hearts to say, look, there's no other team that thought about drafting me. There's no other team that had the notions and the ideology to say to themselves, hey, I want Jalen Smith. I want to take that risk. Remember, there were some scouting reports out there that had Jalen Smith rated higher than Ezekiel Elliott on their draft boards, higher than Joey Bosa, higher than Carson Wentz. So let's not get it all twisted. Yeah, I believe that Jalen Smith will get his bag, but think about this. If we sign Amari Cooper, somebody did the numbers the other day. I think that we have $60 million. 60, let that sink into your mental. Let that sink into your mind, your pocketbook. $60 million. I think that we can find a way. And we just saved $5 million right now moving Allen Hurns out the door. Now, it could be a possibility that when Allen Hurns goes his other ways or what have you, and he finds that nobody gives him an offer, then all of a sudden he can get called back. Let's see what this got to say real quick.
How can Doc get the money he deserves but still be cap friendly the way they write his contract? Trevino.
Trevino. Okay, Trevino. That's how you say your name because I don't see you in the chat. Okay, Mr. Trevino. Okay, Vino. Okay, appreciate you. All right, so this is how this can all go back, and this is how this can all go by, and I'm gonna go back into the situation of talking about Ezekiel Elliott dropping the chip out of his bag. Okay, my thing is when we start to talk about Dak Prescott. And I think Mark Holmes touched on this the other day, is that when you sign these players to a longer deal, and you can front load some of this money within the contract, you can do the same thing with Ezekiel Elliott. Remember, his contract is not up for 2 years. You can front load a lot of this money. You can front load a lot of these resources. And all these things can come into place, whereas you can look at it like a Tyron Smith contract, the Zach Martin contract, and the Travis Frederick contract. You can really stretch this thing out. Now, it'll be an outlandish contract. Shout out to you, Ace Ventura Jr. What's good, man? Thank you for tuning in. And Camo Cowboy, really appreciate you. And David J, Rodney Ellis, Jamal Anderson, really appreciate you in this thing too. IKill, appreciate you. Jerry Jones turned $140 million to $5 billion. So yeah, a lot of people will be listening to him. Yes. So what I'm saying is, Cowboy Nation, when you sign these long contracts, it may seem ridiculous. First Dallas Cowboys to ever have a $210 million contract. People will look at it like, oh, Jerry Jones done lost his mind. He done drunk too much of that Johnny Walker Blue. Somebody go call Jerry and tell him to sit down somewhere. That's how this thing gonna all look like. But in the reality of it is that you front loading most of the guaranteed monies. And then also with that, you are having a situation that you can say to yourself, man, we solid in the quarterback world. And even if you're not 1,000,000% sold on Dak Prescott, you can do what all the other teams been doing. You can still draft a quarterback every year. And I know it may seem foolery, but, you can still do that. I think the Green Bay Packers did that 1 year, or several years. I think the Patriots did it for several years. I think Ryan Mallett was a higher draft pick. I could be wrong on what round he was drafted in, but I think that they kept drafting these guys and these guys. Johnny Walker Blue, yes, Knicks. That's Jerry Jones' drink of choice. I can't wait. If I ever hang out with him, I would say, hey, I can't afford a Johnny Walker Blue shot, but I can at least tell the owner at the bar or whoever, hey, can you send one over to Jerry on Jerry's tab? But, my thing is with Ezekiel, he could be eating a chip out of his bag and the chip falls. TMZ is going to report that and say the guy's littering. You know what I mean? And don't let that chip hit a poor ant. Now you're going to have Peter saying that, hey, that ant was abused by Ezekiel Elliott. He deserved to have some games suspended or what have you. Benny Blaze, what's good, man? Appreciate you. Thank you the other day, man, for making that thing happen, man. Really appreciate you, Benny. Derek Tips, appreciate you. Rev, what's good, man? Thank you. Joe, what about Byron Jones? Do you think he will be next year? What do you think he'll be next year? Don't forget, guys. Don't forget this too. I got to say this. there's still franchise tags out there. Don't think that we don't know how to use them, right? We still have franchise tags out there. So even with the Jalen Smith, we can still use franchise tag on him. Even with the Byron Jones, we can still use a franchise tag on him. And the other thing out there, the Xavier Woods, we're going to be looking at him too. We're going to be looking at him because remember, he was saying off season, he was like, look, hey, you guys been disrespectful to me because you guys been looking at another safety out here. And I'm like, hey, I'm here, coach. I'm here, coach. So we will see. This might be a breakout year for him. So don't sleep on that. Just don't sleep on it. Miss Jackie, what you're saying, Quest Cowboys, why is paying Dak the wrong decision? Did anyone say that when Jimmy got paid, or when Kirk Cousins or Matt Stafford or Andrew Luck and all of those other quarterbacks that got paid, and Romo, when he got paid before then it cuts off. I think you like saying before they won a playoff game or something like that. You know, the thing is with Dak Prescott, Rain Dakota Prescott, and I get it. You know, a lot of people look at it like, hey, and including the NFL top 100 players, they look at it like he's a product of the offensive line, or he's a product of the wide receivers. He's a product of Ezekiel Elliott. And it's crazy because they use the same argument against Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott's the product of the offensive line. He's a product of Amari Cooper. And then they do the same thing about Amari Cooper. He's a product of, Dak Prescott. And I'm sitting there like, wait a minute. So at some point, somebody got to be telling the truth. Now, either the Carr brother that's in Raiders land, either he's trash or he's this MVP caliber quarterback. Remember that MVP type of season that he had? Everybody was saying, like, look, this kid is just next level nasty. We need to pay this man. They paid the man. He disappeared like the Houdini that he is. And now he's whining to the, NFL networks and whoever talk ill will of him. And he's saying, I'm going to be back on top of things. That's a story of a different day. That's right, Francis. Appreciate you for tuning in to the nation. Hope, thank you for tuning in. Chris Danzler, man, appreciate you, man. Salute to you. So at some point, not everybody is lying. Some point, not everybody is evaluating the right tapes. That's what I'm looking at it. That's how I'm viewing things. So either Dak Prescott can win, or either Ezekiel Elliott can run, or either Amari Cooper can catch. But I can tell you right now, Cowboy Nation, this offensive line have not been healthy since 2016. And one can argue truly that this offensive line has not been healthy since 2015. But I'm just giving them 16. You know what I mean? But that's a story of a different day. Let's listen to more what they got to say.
Ezekiel Elliott has at this point.
Well, and to that end, you referenced the names. You got Amari Cooper, you got Ezekiel Elliott, you got Dak Prescott. What's the strategy here to keep those guys happy, to pay them, and also continue to be competitive, because it takes all of this team, as you know?
Let's not forget what Stephen Jones said at one point earlier this offseason, which is that he made it clear publicly it might take everybody sacrificing a little amongst this key group of players that was looking for a new contract. And that began with DeMarcus Lawrence, who did a deal prior to the franchise tag deadline for 5 years and $105 million. But all these other guys might have to take, and we're not talking about a massive concession, but a slight concession to keep the core together, because ultimately the Cowboys have pretty much every requisite piece to be an excellent playoff contender in the NFC. The strategy, I think, has to be, can you continue to chip away and one by one get them done? I know that not every contract negotiation has to be the same.
True.
But the more that other players amongst this core, I don't say do things the right way, but do things without much contention, which is where we could be headed towards with Zeke Elliott, the more it makes you think that Zeke has to play by their rules to get a deal done.
Yeah, I just think it's funny.
That's good. That's good conversation. I don't even have a rebuttal to that. Only thing that I can say is that D-Law's contract, and Miss Jackie can say she was the only one that was out there that I know when we was talking about the D-Law's contract. Miss Jackie said the Cowboys made a statement saying that they was going to pay him, and they should own up to their words that they should go ahead and pay him. Now, at the time, D-Law's contract before the start of last year would have been anywhere from $17 million to $18 million, right? Or less than that. And he played on it, and he got, 10 and a half sacks, something like that, or 11. I could be off on the numbers. But the ultimate thing was that when you look at the collective picture, the Cowboys wrote D-Law's contract up well. It's a really good contract because they front-loaded most of the money, and they kind of got themselves a scapegoat out of this situation if they so happen to say, hey, it didn't work out, after this year. They have rooms that they can get out of it, So my thing is, I'm thinking that they're trying to craft up a deal. They're going to do something similar to Dak. They're going to do something similar to your boy, Ezekiel Elliott. It's up to their agency to agree with what the Dallas Cowboys are trying to put out.
For Stephen Jones to say something like that when he literally has had the biggest bargain in sports in terms of how they've played Dak Prescott. I mean, Dak Prescott has been the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, maybe the most valuable franchise in the National Football League.
Really, you could argue in all of sports.
All of sports, yeah.
Paying their starting quarterback under $1 million a year. Right. I mean, so, if I were Dak Prescott and I hear that, I said, listen, that sounds great about keeping us all together. Yeah. But literally, you have had a free quarterback for the last few years. Like, it's time for if he earns it, which in my estimation he has, it's time for Dak Prescott to get paid as much money as he can possibly get paid and not worried about how much is going to go to Amari Cooper or to Ezekiel Elliott.
Well, and keep in mind he was a 4th-round draft pick, so he's not in that first-round echelon where you have the 5th-year option. So this is his time now. The Cowboys, by the way, officially report to training camp on Friday.
Yes, we report to training camp on Friday. Just going to be a lot of handshaking and a lot of, fist bumping and things like that. So I can't wait for this weekend. I'll be out there in Oxnard. Shout out to Cowboys Experience, man. Check out their website, www.cowboysexperience.com. They got tons of information, especially for sideline tickets. And also, if you want to get a chance to be out there in the mix, shoulder to shoulders with players, we can make that happen as well. Just hit us up, man. The links will be, the link's already in the description box for my YouTube pages. So you guys on YouTube, man, you guys got to check that out. Also, I'm seeing a lot of Ventura talking about, thank you for tuning in to the Mike Daniels sweepstakes, right? A lot of people talking about Mike Daniels, big physical guy that can play inside in, just going to be that pocket collapser. I think he's out there on the market, right? You talking about him, right? The Mike Daniels that played for the Green Bay Packers. Let me know if I'm right. Let me know, guys. Hit me up in the chat box. Let me know, is that the Mike Daniels that you all are talking about? Because this defensive front is already loaded. We just had to cut Allen Hurns because of the wide receiver tree was so loaded. Now you talked about going into the defensive reservoirs. I mean, we can only have 93 guys, so who you guys want to kick off the bridge, as Botch Lombardi would say, to bring in a Mike Daniels? Who you guys want to just put a check mark on and say, hey, we don't want to develop you, we want to bring in this known commodity? Brandon Williams said yes. We Bros says yes. So that is the guy, right? So also we got to take into consideration any veteran guy that you pick up, their salary will be guaranteed throughout the entire year. Any guys that you sign that's a veteran. So that's another deal. And you got to look at it from this side of the argument too, of why veteran versus young, or veteran versus the rookies, or veteran versus a guy that you pick up as far as free agency, undrafted. Are you willing to, throw in a veteran who can jump out there week 1 or week 2 of the training camp and snap up something, and now you got to pay his whole entire salary for that time, and then on top of that, you got to really look into the other things, whereas why in the world the Green Bay Packers are getting rid of him? Those are all the things that you got to put into your mind, Cowboy Nation. All right, we are loaded, decent, serviceable guys, difference makers, Pro Bowler. This is from the Guru. That's a cold-blooded name, man. Derek Tipp said he would take $34 million. Yeah, that's a lot of money. I would take it too. Jay, what's up, man? What's going on with you, man? Shout out to Texas, man. Hey, guys, don't forget to put down where you guys are from again. That's all the time that I have for this beautiful, beautiful afternoon. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this content. Let a friend, neighbor, foe know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboy Sports Talk. I'm live on Periscope, Twitch, Also, we're on the Facebook panel. Appreciate you all that's on my Facebook. The best thing that you guys can do for me, and please do this, just share. Just share, drop it into all of those Cowboys chat groups and things like that. And let people know, man, that they got this guy, your brother from another mother, no other. Don't look like Danny Glover, but keep it cool with you all that talk Cowboy sports talk. I don't know everything. I just know some things. You guys know most of the things, right? Yeah, so let's get on out of here, man. I got to run, but we're going to stay this thing true, and I can't wait to get some of that footage out there for you guys. Let's